it's hard to build trust in that digital space. It's still important, obviously, but getting out and being able to demonstrate your knowledge and your expertise and maybe kind of volunteering a little bit, just getting out in the community and putting yourself in spaces with people.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Connections That Matter. My name is Andrew Johnson. I'm your host, and I love having conversations with Northern Colorado's best networkers. Today, I have two guests, Scott and Holly from the Barkbuster crew, coming to check us out. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Well, you guys have been a part of my community for a while. I've seen the way that you guys have grown as a networker, and you guys have a really cool business. So if somebody hasn't heard of Barkbusters or met you yet, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, what we do at Barkbusters is we come into your home and we work with you kind of where you're at with your dog. So we've seen everything from dogs that are so aggressive that we have to work with the client behind a door.
Oh, wow.
And to clients who have a new puppy, you know, they're a blank slate and they want to just get things started off on the right foot. So
it's different, right? You take the home from the adoption if you go get it from a shelter, and it's so cute, and then all of a sudden it starts to act up or chew on stuff, and you're like, what did I sign up for?
Yeah.
How much on the, like, are people at their wits' end when they call you? Are they embarrassed by their dog? Or is it just like wanting part of a normal part of adopting a new pet?
it's the whole spectrum. A lot of people are kind of at their kind of last straw. They've tried other training. Their dog has done something, maybe bit a neighbor or something, and they're calling essentially in a panic. And so, those people obviously are on a higher vibration of like, I need help. And then we also have people who, they just got a puppy. I just talked to someone yesterday who she's like, I don't know what I've done. Like you're saying, she's in over her head. And I said, how long have you had the puppy? And she said, 2 days.
Oh, wow.
So I joke that puppies aren't for the faint of heart because, there's a lot to learn about getting a puppy on the right track. So
yeah, it's very emotional. It's a very emotional process. People are just, again, like she said, they're just not really sure what to do. And often that's part of the problem with the dog. The dog's looking for guidance and they just don't understand what we're doing. Whether we're using treats or, any kind of form of training, it's all about breakdown in the communication. Without a clear communication, clear guidance, these dogs are just like confused. It's not that they're bad dogs. They just don't understand what we're trying to convey. So often results in bad behaviors. And then essentially we kind of come in and start to get the dog, clear that communication up so the dogs and the humans kind of understand each other, then they can begin to trust each other, and then ultimately live their best lives together. But it's really often just a breakdown in the communication. And what we do is kind of teach natural canine communication. We don't use treats or shock collars, prong collars, anything like that. And I think a lot of people appreciate that.
Well, I imagine dogs like human they're different, right? I might have been able to have a previous pet and it was a certain way, and then we adopt a new way, and I would think the same thing would happen, but they're different. Or like you guys were talking about is a pet could be a specific way in a house, and then let's say we move, and all of a sudden maybe there's a pet in this new place across the street. Now your pet is showing up differently. So how do you adapt pet to pet, person to person?
we do get a lot of clients who a lot of the lesson is, well, my last dog, and so we really have to tell people, like, you really have to meet your dog, like I said, where it's at, because all dogs are different, all people are different, all homes are different. And so we really come in and work with you where you're at with your dog in your home, and all situations are different. Some people are going between households, or their kids are going between households, or, they got a new dog, or they're going to have a baby, or all these different things that cause dogs to kind of act out in certain ways. And so what we do is we come in and kind of assess what's happening and help them, one, sometimes just manage the environment, but also how to work with the dog in a way that the dog feels safe and secure in the home and in the change in the environment, which essentially for an instinctual creature is disrupting the pack hierarchy. So
yeah, and a lot of dogs within the same household will do different with the different people in the household. It's kind of interesting that they pick up on our energy. Like Holly and I dealt with that with our own dog. Just the dog was very different when one of us was there, and then when the other one would come home. Another rescue situation can present a lot of challenges, and it's just kind of having to unwrap that.
Well, let's get into your origin story, because I think that's pretty cool. Because from what I understand, you were a client first, and it worked so well. Now you guys bought the Northern Colorado franchise. So share that journey from hiring Barkbusters to owning a Barkbusters.
So I was living in Steamboat Springs at the time, and I had a rescue dog off the streets of Oklahoma, and she was an absolutely incredible dog and also had very severe separation anxiety. So I literally couldn't leave my home. And Scott was actually living in Maryland at the time, and he was visiting, and we couldn't really do anything because we couldn't go anywhere. And he said, well, I've got a buddy down in Denver who he's been training dogs for 20 years, and maybe he can help you. And so long story short is I did Barkbusters with him and was able to help Ziri deal with this separation anxiety. And I, in turn, was able to leave my house and live a life because it really had become, I couldn't leave the home. She would hurt herself or be destructive in a way that, would I'd come home and trim was off the doorway or holes in the drywall and whatnot. And that would stress me out. And so
it was tough to see. Like, I was up there visiting, and it's literally as soon as Holly would leave the door, she was panicking at the door, chewing the trim and drooling. And Holly had even told me before I met her, she broke out through a screen door or screen window just to get to her. You can imagine how stressful that is, not only for the human, but what about the dog?
Right.
It's actually can be dangerous.
So we implemented the Barkbusters methodology, and at the time, this person was buying another territory with another Holly, and I joked that you picked the wrong Holly. And so he called us a year later, and he said, were you serious about that? And we jumped right on board and moved down to Northern Colorado and bought the Northern Colorado territory, and it's just been awesome. So,
well, I think that's cool. Like when you're networking and seeing people who are really passionate about what they do. But for you guys, it's like a success story. Like Holly, you mentioned that, hey, let me go live a normal life. And now you guys are the solution to that for other people. But what solutions does dog training provide? You're like leaving the house, feeling safe. Like, share a little bit more about the solutions that occur after you work with a family.
Well, I would say confidence and calmness with your dog. Obviously when people are calling us, they are emotional and they're stressed. And again, like I said earlier, that feeds into the dog's energy. And all of our clients love their dogs, and they just don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So again, once we step in there and kind of get in there and do that for them, they just feel calm and confident. And it kind of snowballs both for the human and the dog as you build and kind of compound those little wins. And as you do that, it's just like, it's really a great way to develop a great bond and relationship. It's really about relationships.
For sure. Well, how has your business grown? Any tips as you're scaling a pet business in Northern Colorado? I assume Colorado is very pet friendly. I see people at the breweries or at the restaurants, Absolutely. Home Depot and Lowe's. Pets can go a lot of places that maybe they can't go other parts of the United States. But how have you helped people in Northern Colorado as you've grown and scaled your business?
I think that for us, growing our business has been kind of an interesting journey because Barkbusters is actually a worldwide training company. And so we operate on in 6 countries. And so we sort of relied on our global network in the beginning and did a lot of...
we relied heavily on digital marketing.
Digital marketing, yeah.
Kind of cruising
people who
along.
are Googling, how do I train my dog?
Yeah. And then at some point we thought, this doesn't make sense to us. I mean, I lived in Steamboat, which was a really small community, and I wanted that for us, for our business. And actually Scott had just arbitrarily reached out to Anne with Puppies Pet Care.
Oh yeah, shout out Anne. Right.
Yeah, we had coffee with her and just hit it off with her, and she connected us. She had a great T-shirt on, and so we asked, where'd you get your T-shirt? And she hooked us up with Sandy with Colorado Promotional Supplies, and then she invited us to one of your big networking events, and at that networking event, I was like, this is it. Like, this is how we're going to become connected to our our communities, because for us moving down from Steamboat, it was like, how do we be involved in all these different, because we cover Fort Collins, Berthoud, Loveland, Timnath, Severance, and all of those are little communities, and so for us, trying to get involved in all those communities was a little overwhelming. And so we've been so blessed to get hooked up with you. And I see that as what's really going to grow our business ultimately, kind of like the snowball effect with just being partners with people, and so we're excited about that.
It's cool to see how fast it can happen to you. You're like, hey, I met somebody and then they gave me a great referral for this, and building relationships with those people. And it's interesting, as a pet business, sometimes I would imagine you're focusing on the dogs and, hey, here's the growth that this dog has gone from like where they started, where they are now. But the business side is a people business. It's the 100%. Owners making sure they're satisfied, getting referrals from other pet businesses. So what tips would you have for maybe other people that are in the animal service industry to focus on the people, the things that you do to manage the people that have led to some of your success?
Well, I would say kind of just getting out in front of people. Like, we've kind of embraced, and Holly's always been kind of pushing me on it. Again, feeling uncomfortable sometimes getting out in front of people. But vet clinics have been really good for us. And, even though it's uncomfortable, every time we've gone out and actually engaged with them, it's definitely led to some more leads and some business. And kind of capitalizing on that with, joining this group. Referrals are obviously the strongest way to kind of build a client base and, spread that word through a trusted partner. But, going back to the whole digital marketing, it's hard to build trust in that digital space. It's still important, obviously, but getting out and being able to demonstrate your knowledge and your expertise and maybe kind of volunteering a little bit, just getting out in the community and putting yourself in spaces with people.
Very cool. Let's talk about networking, because you guys show up as a pair or dynamic duo, which I think gives you some strategic advantages to go as a duo. But how has networking been as a couple?
I know we get a little harassed by some people. They're like, you can't sit together. You need to. So, maybe you'll see more of that where we'll branch out and I'll make him sit over there and I'll make myself sit over here. But I think just kind of playing off each other. When we first started the business, we would go on lessons together, and we kind of played off each other really well. And then we sort of developed our own styles, and now we go on lessons on our own. And I feel like that's what's going to happen in the networking space, where we come and play off each other in the networking space. But
yeah, I mean, we kind of live and work this all the time, every day of our life. Like, Holly does the barn thing a lot. She's really into the horse world, but like literally dogs are every day. We take our dog out and just, we talk shop a lot. And we just love it. I mean, absolutely love it. And just even today with a little bit of snow, for the first time, our husky got out and truly enjoyed it. We filmed some stuff out there today and, maybe make some content with
that. There you go.
But yeah, just getting out there and having fun with your dog. And, that's a big part of it too. Just try to have fun, and no matter what you're doing.
Well, and as you're going to these events, there's the drive to the event, there's the event, and then there's the drive home from the event. Do you guys like pregame, post, and then postgame? Like, who did you contact? Who did you make, or who did you meet? Is there any conversations that go between the two of you before and after?
I would say that's something we really got to work on a little bit better. We got to be a lot more intentional in that. For too long we did kind of burn cruise control. Sure, it seemed a little too easy. But again, that's something we definitely need to be a little bit more intentional about.
We usually show up in different cars because I'm coming from the barn. Yeah. So I've been working with the horses, and I come to the event and he's coming from home. Yeah. So, but we do talk about people that we've met. And,
100%.
If we do a one-on-one, we'll talk about that. And
with the dog thing, it's kind of easy. Like, we don't really have to go to people. People, like you said, Colorado is just like the most dog-friendly place in the world. And it's like when you see somebody mentions dog, everybody's eyes, oh, really? Dogs? Like, it's just, people just want to approach you. And again, we love in what we do, and we know and we believe in what our methods are doing. And we do really want to encourage people to talk to us and communicate. And just, again, it's about having fun with your dog, because dog training can be frustrating, and your dog is picking that up. So,
Well, it's interesting. Last week we had Thomas Kern from Kern Painting on the show, and we were talking about referrals. But like anytime somebody's coming into somebody's home, there's a different level of trust.
Absolutely.
Not only are you coming into somebody's home, but you're working with their pets, or maybe around their kids, different things. So I would imagine trust is a really big part of your business. How do you get referrals? What are things that work for you as you're developing the relationships to the point where it's just a natural thing to invite somebody to come into not only your home, but your family?
Most of our referrals come from clients that have worked with us and have learned to trust us and follow the method and trust the method. And it is a very interesting thing because dogs are so personal. We learn a lot about people in not only are we coming into their home, we're also learning very intimate things about them because that does affect the dog. And so I think when we have clients, especially clients who have had, I don't know, maybe they're going through a divorce or maybe they're sick or maybe they, stuff like that where it's big and the dog picks up on it. And while we're asking them what's going on in their life and has anything changed and we learn that, they inadvertently learn to trust us because they're telling us some deep stuff. So those people become kind of our best referral people that share intimately with us and we are able to help them through a hard situation.
So is there like a graduation ceremony? I'm like, oh, you're a good boy now, right? Like,
No.
or is it more an ongoing training? Yeah,
it is ongoing because we do what we call a life of dog support guarantee.
Okay.
So we don't do like your typical 10 sessions and then you go through graduation. You know what I mean? We are there for the life of the dog. So we commit what we say to the life of your dog. And so if something does come up down the road, we're there to help you. So that gives people peace of mind in that,
Yeah, no, I mean, we're committed to them for the life of their dog.
That's
and,
cool.
We expect a little out of them too. They need to commit to doing the work, but also if they ever do find themselves struggling, they can call us at any point in time in the future. Mm-hmm. We often work with clients that have moved into the territory from another part of the country. They were Barkbusters maybe in California or some other place, and they simply kind of can step in and call us, and no hassle whatsoever. And, it's a very, again, I keep saying the word emotional, but we get clients a lot of times with their first lesson, they're calling us out of tears, because they're not sure. Right? And maybe they had given up, but maybe their spouse or their daughter, we've had cases like that where the dog's like, Mom, you got to try. You really got to try. Call these guys. And, they didn't really know us. But then we get in the house and there's emotion there and it's a struggle. And then like 2 weeks later, they're crying because it's tears of joy. Like, I can't believe this. I can't believe my dog. And often it's rescues a lot. So many rescues that we work with. And again, people have their heart is in the right place, but they maybe just don't understand. And again, like Holly said, people are sharing very intimate details in their life because it's literally like a child, family.
People will do anything for their dogs.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that. Or someone's going in, sometimes it's the fun pictures they're sharing at social media, but if like a dog gets a medical thing, they treat them like a member of their family, which is really cool. One thing I love about networking is how it can open up doors, right? We talk about referrals a lot, but introductions is a big part. You've mentioned that you work with the rescues or the vets, that they've been really great partners. Are there any partnerships you're looking to seeking out or new connections that you're trying to get in? We got a lot of listeners in Northern Colorado. We could have them help introduce you.
Our biggest business that we would love to get a connection with, and we have connected with them on some level, is Poudre Pet and Feed. We think would be a great partner.
Okay.
We actually, our dog Max, who we rescued, he was actually, he's a Siberian Husky, and he was on a chain for 3.5 years in Thornton, right around the corner. Jeez. And I think he was out in the elements, and he was actually our most challenging dog we've ever worked with, and also our greatest teacher. But he came to us with severe diarrhea, so much that he started kind of going downhill on us. And when we went to the vet and we did all the things and spent thousands of dollars and did the prescription diet and, consulted with the GI specialist and all the things. And then we went into Poudre Pet and Feed, and their great staff said, here, try this sensitivity kit. And it was a saliva swab and a hair sample. And we sent it in, and we get this sheet that says, these things he's sensitive to, and these things, he can eat. And I took in the sheet, and we said, what can he have? And they picked us out of dog food. And literally he was getting better within 4 meals. And so that was just incredible. And so we tell a lot of our clients who have dogs that maybe are itchy or, hot spots or GI issues to go in and do that kit. And I think it's a great way for our clients to get into their door. And we just have always felt that could be a great partnership.
Well, I love the personal testimonial too. It's not just because there's an opportunity potentially with referrals, but it's like, no, this really worked when other things didn't. So shout out Poudre Pet and Feed. If you guys know them, tag them in the comments below. But let's get some one-to-ones and let's get some connections facilitated with that one. Well, Scott and Holly, this has been awesome. Really, I've enjoyed networking with you. Really understanding that what you do is make people's families work. And it's been really cool to see you grow with the community and stuff there. But if somebody's maybe got the dog that they've been trying to work on, maybe they've been watching YouTube videos, or maybe they've had something on the behalf, but it hasn't worked, and they want to get a hold of you, what's the best ways for someone to get a hold of you?
So they can call our personal cell phone. Mine is 970-291-1413.
I can be reached at 970-846-4809.
Or you can go to barkbusters.com and you can either fill out a quiz or a contact submission form.
There you go.
We'll get that information. I do want to do a quick shout out to you, though.
Okay.
So one day after a dog lesson, I was in Berthoud and I became stranded at about, 7:30 p.m. And my car was oozing coolant or something. And so I called Andrew and I was asking him if there was anyone, anywhere I could take my car, or, did he have a recommendation for an auto shop? And my car got towed to Metric Motors and they were amazing.
Yeah.
And that was a very stressful situation for me. And it was just the perfect example of our networking group in action, real time for me. And so I just really appreciated that referral and you answering your phone at 7:30 at night.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, right on it. It's cool to see. Yeah, shout out Metric Motors for all that. They do great work over there. Matt Sealer, former podcast guest, one of the earlier episodes there. But well, very cool. Well, last question. Scott, are you the specialist for specific types of dogs, different issues, or Holly? Both of you gave out your cell phone. Who should I call, Scott or Holly, or who should I call for what?
That's an interesting question. I think it's interesting. We kind of go back and forth. Occasionally I'll get a case. We'd love to handle any case, either one of us, but occasionally I'll get a case where Holly, I think I need you to come out and get your perspective on this. Honestly, I think it's a team. I wouldn't say that she's definitely probably more of the puppy person, I would say, if I was going to point out any one thing.
I like it.
Puppies are amazing and they're challenging though.
Sure.
They can be a handful. I think Holly probably has a little more patience in that area, and it's amazing, though. I just the ability to call her, not only her, but throughout our international network, we can reach out and call. There's nothing that we haven't seen within our network. So I don't know if that answers that question.
I like it. If you got a puppy, call Holly. If you got
everything else, call Scott.
Call Scott. I love
you
that.
You can call both of us.
All right. Well, I've really enjoyed networking with both of you. Excited to see you around the events and watch you continue to grow. Thanks so much for coming on Connections That Matter.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Hey all, thanks for watching. I love networking and building relationships with other Northern Colorado business leaders. So if you want to come meet some of these podcast guests, meet me, or meet some other amazing entrepreneurs in Northern Colorado, I would love to have you attend one of our next events. Go in the podcast description. There's a ways that you can see our upcoming schedule, and maybe you could be a future podcast guest as well. Thanks.